see.
You are under siege from ambition, fear, pride, and a nervous system guarding your image. A lazy person rests peacefully, but you collapse while your mind bargains with an unfinished future. Your body stays still while imagination drafts companies, reinventions, escape plans, and impossible standards.
That is why doing nothing feels exhausting, because fuel is burning while movement never begins.
Outsiders call that laziness, because stillness looks simple when they cannot hear the war inside.
Then you borrow their label, repeat it privately, and start treating the wrong disease.
You do not need louder motivation from strangers. You need a clean diagnosis of resistance.
Because paralysis always disguises itself as something respectable before it quietly ruins another year.
Sometimes it wears perfectionism, caution, intelligence, or the exhausted face of fake overwhelm.
Beneath every costume lives the same terror. Your best effort might expose you as ordinary.
So you protect possibility by avoiding proof, then rename that avoidance as timing, research, or refinement.
This is the real fight. Ruthless honesty about what you are actually protecting.
Trap 1 is visionary addiction, the polished curse of worshipping internal perfection.
The image in your head becomes so beautiful that touching reality feels like vandalism. If the picture looks flawless, the first attempt feels clumsy, insulting, and almost morally wrong.
You compare your first brick to a cathedral that exists only in imagination. Then, lose heart.
Listen carefully.
Starting feels humiliating because reality cannot compete with fantasy, not at the beginning.
That is why perfectionism is rarely love of excellence. It is fear of evidence.
Once the work exists, other people can judge it, and you can judge it too. But while the masterpiece stays imaginary, your identity stays safe from numbers, criticism, and feedback.
Delay becomes emotionally useful because it protects the fantasy that your hidden greatness remains untouched.
Watch the trusted manager send the rough deck early, absorb criticism, then sharpen it in daylight.
Meanwhile, the gifted overthinker polishes invisible brilliance, while quieter competitors take the room through repetition.
Kill the image, protect the repetitions, and let reality embarrass you before regret does.
Trap 2 is planning intoxication, where preparation seduces you harder than execution ever can.
Preparation can feel so rewarding that construction starts looking dirty, uncertain, and strangely beneath you.
You buy journals, rename folders, color calendars, and leave feeling productive without producing anything.
That feeling is dangerous because imagined progress can satisfy the brain before effort enters the body.
The blueprint becomes a drug, and the build starts feeling slow, messy, and painfully exposed.
You are not launching a business. You are decorating the waiting room of a business.
Be honest, which one are you doing right now?
Research sounds serious, which is exactly why avoidance loves hiding inside it for months.
The mind chooses design over dirt because design feels intelligent, clean, and under perfect control.
Then reality arrives with friction, unanswered emails, awkward calls, and consequences instead of compliments. A man then speaks rapidly and defensively into the phone.
Look at the founder refining strategy slides for 6 months, while sales remain an embarrassing rumor.
Then watch the scrappy operator make ugly calls, hear rejection,
and collect truth from impact.
After 30 minutes of planning, force one visible move into the world before touching another framework.
Trap 3 is the gifted child wound, where early ease teaches you to distrust effort.
Early ease can quietly train you to fear effort more than failure.
When school felt easy, talent became identity, while struggle started looking ugly, unnecessary, and low status.
You learn that being good meant being natural, quick, polished, and barely touched by friction.
Then adulthood changed the rules and demanded repetition, embarrassment, patience, and long, ordinary seasons.
Suddenly, effort felt offensive, because effort sounded like proof you were never truly exceptional.
Hard work stopped feeling developmental and started feeling personal, almost like an accusation.
So challenge registers as identity danger first, not training, adaptation, mastery, or growth.
That is why capable people often freeze before important work and move like the floor is on fire. Scrolling, errands, gaming, and pointless admin feel safer than imperfect growth in front of witnesses.
Picture the analyst avoiding a presentation because one hard question might expose unfinished thinking.
A less brilliant colleague speaks first, stumbles publicly, gets corrected, and grows sharper every quarter.
Replace the identity of gifted with the identity of trained, corrected, practiced, and hardened.
Trap 4 is mood worship, the habit of waiting for perfect inner weather. The belief that action should wait for better weather inside your head.
You say you are tired, foggy, flat, scattered, not in the right state. But here is the truth, that exhaustion is often not from working, it is from avoiding.
Every avoided task keeps running in the background, taxing attention, mood, sleep, and self-respect. Guilt is a hidden tax, and it keeps charging while you scroll.
That is why an hour of avoidance can drain you more than 20 honest minutes of effort.
Stagnation breeds fatigue. Movement creates energy.
Strong performers understand this. They do not ask emotion for permission before every serious move.
They notice mood, adapt intelligently, and move anyway before the mind builds another courtroom.
Think of the trial lawyer reviewing arguments after midnight with dry eyes and zero romance.
The amateur waits for inspiration, then baptizes delay with elegant language like balance or self-care.
Do not check the internal weather report. Just move and let motion reorganize the mind.
Trap 5 is weaponized efficiency, where smart instincts either build leverage or hide fear.
Your hatred of waste can become leverage, or it can become a beautiful excuse.
Some resistance comes from fear, but some resistance comes from sensing a bloated, stupid process.
Ambitious, lazy minds often detect inefficiency faster than obedient grinders who glorify needless suffering. That instinct matters only when it creates systems instead of stories, rituals, and polished avoidance.
Otherwise, efficiency talk becomes cowardice, wearing tailored vocabulary and pretending to be strategic wisdom.
The mature mind asks what can be automated, removed, delegated, standardized, or shortened immediately.
The immature mind redesigns workflows forever, rearranges dashboards, and still ships nothing measurable.
Look at the rainmaker who writes one reusable script, trains the team, then closes from it repeatedly.
Now look at the procrastinator comparing productivity apps while the inbox rots and revenue leaks.
Both hate wasted effort, but only one converts that hatred into structure, leverage, and compounding.
Ask one hard question. Is this process badly designed, or am I scared to touch it?
If it is fear, touch the work. If it is waste, rebuild the system.
Trap 6 is inner rebellion, when procrastination becomes a private protest against old control.
Procrastination can become a protest against control long after the controller has disappeared.
Maybe someone once pushed, judged, compared, commanded, or decided your worth before you had language.
As a child, refusal may have been the only place where freedom still belonged to you.
So passivity became more than behavior. It became identity, defense, and proof of private independence.
Now the authority voice lives inside your head and still speaks in commands, threats, and pressure.
Each time you say, "I have to," the rebel inside stiffens and starts pushing back.
You sabotage your own plans just to feel unconquered, even while that sabotage bleeds your future. This is counter-will, the reflex to resist whatever smells controlling, even when it serves you.
The prison and the rebellion now live inside the same body, fighting over the same life.
I choose this meeting because clarity protects my team and reputation.
Compare that with the resentful performer muttering,
I have to.
while dragging hostility through obligation.
Same calendar, same task, completely different nervous system.
Replace compulsion with agency, and much of the resistance loses oxygen immediately.
Trap 7 is the micro-betrayal, the art of sneaking past your own resistance.
Ambitious people often fail at the doorway because they announce a war before touching the handle.
Giant goals trigger alarms before your hands move, because the brain sees pain and identity risk.
The doorway is activation energy, and activation energy hates dramatic promises and reinvention speeches.
So stop declaring transformations and begin with something almost insulting in its smallness.
Put on the shoes, open the file, stand by the desk, write the title, start anywhere.
Good. Keep it small.
Those actions feel beneath your ambition, which is exactly why your nervous system allows them.
The ego loves grand declarations, but the body trusts harmless beginnings that do not threaten identity.
This is the micro-betrayal, sneaking motion past resistance before resistance can lock the gate.
The 2-minute deal works because brief action feels survivable, finite, and psychologically non-catastrophic.
Once movement begins, stopping often feels stranger than continuing, because tension now wants closure.
Keep the contract if you stop, because self-trust matters more than one extra burst.
The writer who opens the page daily outruns the visionary still waiting for fire.
Trap 8 is kill tomorrow, the final attack on delay disguised as reason. Tomorrow is a conceptual hallucination that keeps frightened ambition comfortably sedated and indefinitely postponed.
Saying later creates instant relief, which is why postponement can feel mature, reasonable, and responsible.
You dump effort onto a future self who never agreed to carry your unfinished discomfort.
But tomorrow never arrives as tomorrow. It arrives disguised as another pressured version of today.
That is how delay hardens into character, then identity, then destiny, without any dramatic announcement.
Modern distraction makes it worse
by flooding the brain with cheap novelty and instant stimulation.
After enough scrolling, real work feels blunt, slow, silent, and almost physically unbearable.
So build a low dopamine room where the task becomes the most interesting thing left standing.
Then make one ugly draft, one unpolished call, one awkward start that exists outside imagination.
Kill later. Opal the file, send the draft, take the walk, begin badly, prove your ambition is awake.